Guess who's back, everybody? Well, you and me. Thanks for finding the Wicked Radio live stream. But more importantly, in the news, I know you saw this yesterday. Hunter Biden is back. Now ask yourself, why would Hunter Biden do two different podcasts? On one of them, by the way, he dropped at a rate, I had to write this down, he dropped a rate of 6 F-bombs in 30 seconds. Classy. But why is he out talking? Well, it turns out he's taking revenge on everybody. Now, this is one of those examples where you're going to go, no, no, Bill, shut up. This is not a good thing. No, I do not want to see Hunter Biden. Hold on. Hear me out. It's a good thing if you're not exactly a fan of what we lived through in the past 4 years. You can call it left, right, Democrat, Republican. I don't care. What I'm saying is, if you didn't like all the corruption that you saw before, and it was pretty clear what was going on in many different examples, you should celebrate the fact that Hunter Biden is out there because all the rats are turning on each other. And it's great to see. It's a wonderful thing. But not only that we're going to talk about, we're also going to talk about this. You remember the whole Coldplay kiss cam controversy fiasco for that Astronomer company, which turns out to be an AI company I didn't know either. As a new CEO, it took me by surprise yesterday. I had to read it twice. He made a statement as a new CEO of a company does after a controversy. I love what this guy said. We always talk about finding the win in chaos or a bad situation, turning it into a win. Boy, this guy gets that. We'll talk about him. As well as this, a hero Delta pilot. For all the problems that the airline industry is going through and how they treat us as consumers, which is like crap. It's not the pilot's fault. This guy dodged a B-52. That's right, a military bomber plane. And then got on the intercom, and you'll hear it here, and apologized to the passengers. And explained exactly what happened. This guy is awesome. We'll get to him as well. Oh, and they released some MLK files that nobody seemed to talk about, but whatever. A lot to talk about. We'll find the win in all of this stuff. Thanks for finding me, by the way. And all you people watching or listening later on the live stream, on the replay, which is where most people find it. Thanks so much for doing that. When you're doing it, please press follow and like and share and all that good stuff. And then the audio podcast, you got to download so that you know when future episodes are coming and all that good stuff. All right. Let's get to it. I know you saw this. And probably your reaction was the first gut instinct, right? When you saw that Hunter Biden was everywhere. Again, this is how it all happens in the new media. Did a couple of podcasts, but that gets taken and then promoted everywhere. I think it was every single mainstream news outlet carried it. All the digital outlets carried it. People took clips of it. Some people showed the whole thing. I think it was Jesse Waters on Fox last night, broke it down piece by piece what he's doing. Basically, it was a venting opportunity for Hunter Biden to talk about everything that happened. I guess the main point was defend his dad's legacy, I guess. Now, if I was Hunter Biden, God forbid, or if you were, God forbid, I would go off into the sunset and hide forever. He got his pardon, probably with the auto pen. That's a discussion for a different day. For all of his implications that he was involved in the Biden crime family, as it's called, and using his dad's influence to make millions and millions of dollars, all the other charges that have been levied against the guy. If you got a pardon, wouldn't you just ride into the sunset and not make waves? Apparently, he feels like he has to take shots at everybody that he feels are sullying his dad's reputation. And man, he's taking shots at everybody. And I will tell you, even though you may be like me at first, where you didn't want to ever hear from Hunter Biden again, or Joe, or any of them, this is a great thing that somebody like that is exposing all the other rats. Because nobody can expose a rat like a rat, and that's exactly what he's doing. So I think I bleeped out all the F-bombs. Again, at the rate of 6 F-bombs in 30 seconds on both of these podcasts. Here he is.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two.
Oh, that's the kiss cam. Hold on. We'll get to that in a second, of the Astronomer CEO, which is great. But the Hunter Biden thing was something else to behold. Here it is.
And James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior speechwriters on Barack Obama's Senate staff who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40-50 million off the Democratic Party. They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times.
It's really amazing. And he said it right there, the last piece of that one short little clip I grabbed, because there's so many swears in it. A man that's figured out how to get elected to the Senate over 7 times, 6 times, 52 years in the Senate, his entire life. Never created a job, but his entire life. So then, here's what he didn't talk about. Then how did the Bidens become so rich? You know and I know because we have common sense, but I honestly think Hunter Biden just separates from that. He has that ability to separate that his dad is one of the biggest crooks of all, and yet he's taking shots at everybody else. This is why I think it's good. Even though maybe you're like me and never wanted to hear from him again, he may be the one, ironically, may be, that exposes all of the corruption that happened before. And wouldn't that be something, right? This creature that created from that from that whole scene and all of a sudden called everybody upon the carpet. What if he knows all the dirty deals? What if he knows the insides? I don't think he does, but the insides and outs of the Obama scheme, right? Green lighting the letter that was supposed to take down Trump over the Russia collusion hoax. What if he knows all the details? Wouldn't that be something? So now that he's out there, this is why you should actually be glad about this. Now somebody's going to come out and attack him, which through that is going to expose more of this crap that we just lived through. Basically what I'm saying is the takeaway should be we just survived a presidency to the previous administration where the president really wasn't in charge. Everybody was out to get him or just make a name off of him. He was out to use his influence as vice president before that to make millions of dollars. And his son is taking shots at everybody. And as much as we may think that Hunter Biden is a rat and a crackhead and an absolute street urchin, and he is, don't fool yourself and start to think that he doesn't know where all the skeletons are buried or are hidden or the bodies are buried. Maybe sometimes literally, because he does. So if this guy is talking, this is wonderful to behold. Because sometimes transparency doesn't come out in some official form, right? Transparency is a big buzzword these days. We all want transparency. JFK files, MLK files, which, by the way, we'll get to here in a second. The whole Epstein thing. Is there an Epstein list? We all want transparency. Sometimes the transparency of the dirtiest stuff that disgusting swamp in Washington, D.C. hides comes from other swamp monsters like him. So, maybe. Speaking of the MLK files, well, how come nobody's talking about this? So very quiet. Apparently everybody wants transparency these days, right? We all want it. Well, why isn't anybody talking about Tulsi Gabbard and another announcement just yesterday? Because she announced, and this was yesterday afternoon, today, after nearly 60 years of questions surrounding the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, we are releasing 230,000 MLK assassination files available now. I guess we can all look them up at archives.gov. Executive Order 14176 resulted in 3 unprecedented interagency efforts to identify, digitize, declassify, and release files related to the government's investigation. Well, that's a good thing. How come nobody wants to talk about it? Because it's not the Epstein thing. We're so focused on the Epstein thing. That's why. Well, this is all part of it. They all got in there. And shortly after the inauguration in January, they said, we're going to release everything we know about, yes, Epstein, JFK, which they did, MLK, which they are, but nobody seems to want that, which makes me question everybody that is stomping up and down and crying like a baby, calling for transparency. Yet when this comes out, which is all part of the transparency, nobody wants to talk about it. Are you telling me the assassination of MLK, which has just as many conspiracy theories as any other things you want to talk about, that's less important somehow? Makes me wonder. This is my own personal take. Just makes me wonder about the people who are stomping up and down about transparency. And these are the people who will say, "Oh, that MLK thing, that's just a distraction." Okay. Well, careful of those people. Maybe they have an agenda. Just saying. All right. I already played a little bit of the clip by mistake earlier, but we all know the Coldplay Kiss Cam Cup and the Astronomer CEO, Andy Byron. And by the way, apparently the Astronomer company was an AI tech company. I had no idea either. But that's part of the story, isn't it? Had you ever heard of this Astronomer company before that? And that's what I'm actually getting to. Now, going back, and we've all talked about it ad nauseum, I'm guilty of that too. The thing has been overplayed, right? Okay, we've all seen, and now sports teams and stadiums are having a kiss cam thing and they're making fun of it. We've all seen the memes of people getting together and hiding from the affair. It all goes back to, and I already played a piece of this by mistake, it all goes back to last week at that Coldplay concert and the Astronomer CEO getting caught with his mistress from the HR department, and we all know what led to that. This is what it sounded like.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Yes. We all know what happened. It was amazing. It was this and that. Now it's just overplayed. Now it's like, now we're delving into their personal lives too much. So we should put an end to that. We really should. Except for one thing. Well, the first development is now, I'm starting to see the pictures of this. At live concerts now, they have a disclaimer posted for their in-stadium camera scenes that every band does it now. They show it on the stage, say, you may be filmed. Be aware. so that a band or a promoter doesn't get sued or an arena gets sued. So that's hilarious. But this company now, this is interesting. We all thought about the personal lives of these two, and we all like to laugh at the, people who take a fall. He, weren't they dumb having an affair? He, wasn't, okay, whatever. That's human nature, I guess. Nobody was really thinking about what's left behind in this company. I guess this Andy Byron guy who had to resign after all this wasn't very popular, so a lot of the people in the company were taking shots at him and laughing and whatever. But you still have a company, and this is still your job and your livelihood. A lot of people work there, Boston-based company, I guess. Okay. So eventually, they have to hire a new CEO. And they have him. New CEO is named Pete DeJoy. He had already been in the company, I guess, product development. I guess he was a co-founder of the company, whatever. So he comes in there. And after chaos and controversy, the new CEO has to make a statement. That's pretty standard course. So when I saw the headline that they got a new CEO and they made a statement, I said, no, okay, well, they moved on, whatever, somebody inside. And then I read, I don't know why I did, but I read the statement from the new CEO. And I got to tell you, I cannot love this enough. This was handled perfectly by whoever this new CEO of this company is. Perfectly. I always talk about this is what I'm into. You take whatever life throws at you in your personal life or in the media, which we talk about in the live stream every day, whatever crap the world throws at you, reframe it, find the win, and empower yourself through that, right? Turn a crappy situation into a good one. It's what good PR firms do. It's what really good CEOs do. Listen to this guy's statement that he apparently posted on LinkedIn, which is what a CEO would do, apparently. Check this out. Astronomer CEO Pete DeJoy. I won't read the whole thing, but I'll get to the gist of it, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. The spotlight's been unusual and surreal for our team, while I would never have wished for it to happen like this. Blah, 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 blah. Astronomer is now a household name. Whoa, wow. That's the first line of his new CEO statement. Let me just say that again. I wouldn't have wished it this way, blah, blah, blah. Astronomer is now a household name. First of all, the first reason why that works and why it's impactful is he's right. Did anybody know what the hell this company was? Astronomer. And the critics will say, yeah, but it's a joke and it's a laughingstock. It's true. There's no bad publicity. People looking to invest in an AI company, they'll start to investigate this a little further and they'll say, hey, they actually do some good stuff. Now's the time to buy low. He goes on. It gets better. Second part of new astronomer Pete DeJoy's statement says, the events of the past few days have received a level of media attention that few companies, let alone startups in our small corner of data and AI world, ever encounter. I'm sorry, I'm clapping for this guy. Whoever this guy is, wherever he came from, he completely understands how business works, how life works. Thrown into this situation, which could have folded the company, and he takes it and he grabs hold of the media attention, crappy media attention at first, But he's finding opportunity and finding a win in the chaos. He was thrown into a crap situation, and he's turning it into a win. If I was interested in investing in an AI company, I think I'd look into this guy. I think I would invest in him. I will guarantee you what it's doing is it's getting more and more people, investors, to look into this going, all right, we all laughed at the previous CEO caught on the kiss cam and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that changed things. And I know their stock's down, but whoa, hold on a second. They do some good stuff. That is a perfect example, coming from the business world too, but can't we all apply that in our personal lives? Turning a crap situation you're thrown into a win. I thought that was amazing. I'm actually rooting for that guy in that company now. Wow, about that. All right, I'll wrap it up with this. Whatever the hell is going on with the airline industry, we know there's a lot of bad stuff. If you fly a lot like I do, if you fly a little, you know what it's like. From the parking situation to the luggage situation, to security, to TSA, to finally getting to the airline gate, to getting onto the plane, to dealing with flight attendant, to the entire situation, even if, hoping your flight doesn't get canceled, first of all, because there's less and less flights anyway. The entire airline mess is true. It's we get treated like garbage as consumers. We just do. I don't think we can blame the pilots on this. There are heroic moves that pilots make every single day for, number one, our safety, but number two, to try to make our flying experience better. Perfect example is what this guy did here. A Delta pilot who, get this, had to dodge a B-52. A B-52 because the towers weren't talking to him correctly and giving him the right information. So if he wasn't aware and used his skills and his experience, this could have been a whole different story we're talking about. But then what made it even better was he jumped on the intercom, the plane's PA system, and he explained exactly what happened. First of all, let me just give you the PA announcement because he's calm, he reassures everybody, and he apologizes.
Sorry about the aggressive maneuver. It caught me by surprise. This is not normal at all. I don't know why they didn't give us a heads up because the Air Force Base does have radar, and nobody said, hey, there's also a B-52 in the pattern. Long story short, it was not fun, but I do apologize for it, and thank you for understanding. It was kind of not a fun day at work. Have a nice evening.
And then the people calmly, thank you for saving our lives. And he goes, not a fun day at work. I'm glad everybody's safe. Here's the background of the story. So on this Delta Airlines regional jet, the Air Force, he talked about the Air Force tower. He says, they didn't tell us there was a B-52 in the area. I don't know what's going on with military communication or regular passenger towers. I don't know what's going on. That obviously has to be fixed. But let's just be thankful for a pilot like this. He had to make a hard turn, avoiding colliding with an Air Force B-52 bomber, confirmed. The Air Force confirmed it was assigned to conduct a flyover over the North Dakota State Fair. Roughly around the time, as we now know, that the Delta flight was coming to land in North Dakota. And that was the pilot's announcement. So if he was just on, I don't know what they do, autopilot, or wasn't paying attention, or, took their first direction, which, by the way, told him to turn the wrong way, that could have gone bad. He decided to use his instincts. This really could have been one of the worst air disasters we've ever had. But because of him, it didn't. So every time we want to take shots at the airline industry as consumers, and we should, because it needs to get better, I don't think it's the pilot's fault. Of course, every industry is going to have their bad apples, but there's a ton of them that do great work every single day that don't get the kind of recognition. So, wow, thank goodness. That's our feel-good story for the day. No doubt about that. But the takeaway, in the news anyway, even if you're disgusted by it, you don't ever want to hear the name Hunter Biden again, and you're kind of like bummed out that he's even talking, and you think that's going to be more. It's okay. It's all right. Here's the takeaway to turn that around. Be happy about it. Be happy that he's turning on the rats, because as much of an idiot as that guy is, he knows a lot of the dirt. So if he's talking, you want to talk about transparency, which we all want these days? Oh, it's probably coming if they're turning on each other. Good. That's good stuff. And this Astronomer CEO story, look it up for yourself and just read it again. I know I described it, but read it again. The new CEO of this company after the Coldplay Kiss Cam disaster, Pete DeJoy. Look at his turned a crappy chaotic situation into a win. That's amazing, that guy. Now I'm actually rooting for that company after all that. But again, let's leave the couple alone. Enough of their personal lives. All right, that's Tuesday. Tomorrow's midweek. Who the heck knows what's going to be in the news, but it's always something. There's always something crap they're throwing at us. We'll turn it around. We'll look for the win. We'll find it. Thanks for finding the live stream, as always. If you're watching or listening later, which is where most of you do, thanks for the follows. Make sure you follow and put notifications on if you can to make sure you know when we're going live and other stuff. And the audio podcast as well. Make sure you press download on whatever platform you like so that you know when future episodes are coming for the little alerts that come your way. Have a wicked awesome Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.